your address.
Good evening, all of you. First, I should have visited the university long back, but I am in the sound company of your Honorable Chief Minister and Ranga Swamiji. He also took a time, so I catalyzed my visit, also his visit. Dr. Tamili Sai Rajan, Lieutenant Governor, Pondicherry, Governor, Telangana, Rector of this university, and a doctor. She indicated to us the benefit of Ayushman Bharat. That there was a time when you had hypertension, went to the pharmacist, the price of the medicine gave you more tension. Now the tension has been reduced. Once a doctor, always a doctor. But extremely emotively connected to her assignment. We see her on television, the fiery speech, but you can take with a pinch of salt reflections she made about me. Sri N. Ranga Swamiji, Honorable Chief Minister of Pondicherry, if I meet him 3 or 4 times, I would learn his disarming humility, captivating smile. Though the Honorable Governor Telangana and Lieutenant Governor Pondicherry was good enough to translate, but trust me friends, for the first time, I did not know the language, but I could make out from his body language what he was saying. Friends, it is soothing for me to note, and should be for you also, the sentiments he expressed about our Honorable Prime Minister emanated from his heart, from his mind, and from his soul. The sentiments he expressed for the man who is changing lives for the better of more than 1.4 billion people. I appreciate your sentiments as Chief Minister of Pondicherry. Sri Ambalam Selvam, R. Selvam, I always sympathize with the speakers because I am Chairman Rajya Sabha. I know their difficulties. And that is why I have a special regard for our Honorable Rajya Sabha member. I'll come to that a little later. I am coming straightway from Mumbai, where we had 84th meeting of the speakers and chairpersons of legislatures. We have discussed in great detail and passed 5 resolutions. Legislature should not fail the people. Legislators are to contribute on the floor of the House. They have to vindicate their oath. They have to carry out constitutional ordainment. Certainly, they cannot engage in disruption and disturbance, which normally they do every time. I had appealed from Mumbai that I depend on the people at large to sensitize their parliamentarians and legislators that their unbecoming conduct is not appreciated by them. They need to perform in the temple of democracy to realize our aspirations. I wouldn't say more on the point, but I share his problems. Sri A. Nams Sivem, Minister of Home, Pondicherry, a distinguished person, brings on the table. But I asked the Honorable Chief Minister, is he also the Education Minister? He said yes. Am I right? So we need 2 heads. Professor K. Tharanik Rasu. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. My wife is not here, otherwise she had pulled me up. I know being married to someone who is a doctorate in academics and for 45 years is a tough challenge. But that is greatly helpful when it comes to discharging difficult situations like facing the wrath of Rajya Sabha members. Now coming to Mr. I always had a difficulty in pronouncing his name in Rajya Sabha. It's a very sweet name. So I would ask my staff to put it in bold in 3 parts. Sela Gana Bhati, Member Parliament, Rajya Sabha. Well, the Honorable MLA has a very easy, soothing name. Shri PML Kalyan Sundaram. Grateful for all those who were instrumental in naming you so simply and enormously. Distinguished audience, erudite members of the faculty, and my dear students, boys and girls. I must start with a disclaimer. I know one person here since birth. Her father was a minister in Rajasthan, very senior minister, when I was opposition legislator. I was quite a problem to him. He is now our distinguished Rajya Sabha member, Shri Ghanshyam Tiwari ji. Richa happens to be his daughter. I know her since birth. I would not make any comment about her because of the disclaimer that I know the family, but comes from very, very distinguished family. And the father is a great asset to Rajya Sabha, has been member of the assembly for 7 terms and a minister. Has great command on scriptures and is very kind in choosing words, but sometimes they are sharper than serpent's tooth, as was said by Shakespeare in one of the novels. I must congratulate that the theme chosen is VIKSIT BHARAT. I was elected to Parliament in 1989, Lok Sabha. I had the good fortune to be a union minister. Then we could not think of it. Why? A country that was known as Sone Ki Chidiya. I was in the Council of Ministers in 1990 when we had to send in physical terms our gold. It was airlifted from India for 2 banks in Switzerland to sustain our fiscal credibility. We could not do it. That was the time when we had to take a trip to Srinagar, stayed in Centaur, as if we had come to a place not having human habitation. I saw it. Therefore, to think of VIKSIT Bharat then would have been very foolish. But in last decade, things have dramatically changed. Why we are thinking you can't take a big jump? You can't take a rocket to moon unless you are prepared for it. That preparation has been taken very effectively, impactfully. Just a decade ago, this country, Bharat, home to 1/6 of humanity, was amongst fragile 5 economies of the world. Bharat was taken to be a burden on global economy. And look at what we have traversed under difficult terrain. We now are world's 5th largest economy. That's not a small achievement. We have gone ahead of Canada, UK and France. And that we have done because of right policies, affirmative governance, and result-oriented situation. It's a matter of time, friends, boys and girls. In 2-3 years, we would be the 3rd largest global economy, marching ahead of Japan, and Germany. So surely our dream of VIKSIT Bharat is a valid one. Because we have seen in last 10 years exponential phenomenal growth of infrastructure. We have seen those kind of societal developments which have stunned the world. In 2022, boys and girls, our digital transactions were more than 4 times of USA, UK, France, and Germany taken together. Can you imagine? 4 times of these countries, our digital transactions. Our per capita internet consumption was more than that of US and China taken together. Imagine the power of our Prime Minister, his vision, his passion and mission, that 100 million gas connections have been given to the poor, free. Imagine the banking inclusion that has taken place. Currently we have 500 million bank accounts that were away from banking inclusion. And all this has created history because now even our farmers, 110 million of them receive 3 times a year direct in their accounts. The amount so far has been more than 2,60,000 crores. Therefore, it is legitimate for us to think of VIKSIT Bharat. Boys and girls, our Amrit Kal is our Gaurav Kal. What we are witnessing in airports, in railway stations, in trains, on high seas, in the sky, we never dreamt of it. Those are the achievements. So rightly we are thinking of VIKSIT Bharat. Firm foundations have been laid already in Amrit Kal to ensure that in 2047, when Bharat attains centenary of its independence, we will be the most developed nation in the world, I have no doubt about it. And you before me, boys and girls, are the foot soldiers. You will take on your shoulders Bharat at 2047 as a glorious nation of the world, an ideal for others, and a stabilizing force for peace and harmony in the world. That is the situation. How it has come about, let me tell you. You need a mechanism so human resource is blossomed, it flourishes. Now we have an ecosystem in place where every young mind has opportunities to exploit his or her potential, unleash talent and energy, realize dreams and aspirations. And why? Because now autocracy of corruption is gone and meritocracy prevails. We have bid goodbye to favoritism, patronage, nepotism, and corruption. Boys and girls, just imagine a few years ago, our power corridors were infested with corrupt elements, lies elements. Nothing could be transacted or traversed in business or decision making without greasing somebody's hands. Corruption was a rewarding experience. But look at what a big change has taken place. Our power corridors have now been fully sanitized. Lies and agents are not visible. They are gone forever. They can't make a comeback. Second, young minds, what do they want? They want, we must have transparency. We must have accountability in governance. That is the theme now, you know. What you want? You want that merit alone should be rewarded. We should not be handicapped. That's the scene you have got it. So when you have got all this, it is legitimate for us to dream big and dream keeping in view our civilizational ethos of more than 5,000 years. We have demonstrated to the world what India is capable of. Whether it is Russia-Ukraine war, whether it is Israel-Hamas, whether it is dealing with the Middle East or European Union or America, India has its own voice. an independent voice. For the first time, we have a Prime Minister who went to the United Nations and invited global attention to yoga. Yoga is our contribution to the world. Yoga emanates from Atharvaved, virtually encyclopedic on the point of health. And imagine the global response. In the shortest time, largest number of United Nations countries approved yoga January 21 as International Yoga Day. I had the occasion to attend a chief guest of the national event last year, and the Honorable Prime Minister was there at the premises of United Nations. It was shown to the world. India houses today headquarters of International Solar Alliance. We could never imagine earlier that we'll have such kind of energy available at our disposal. It is now available near you all. You can see solar panels. We are marching ahead. To take care of the farm industry, the call of the Prime Minister to have International Millet Year caught up everybody's attention. It has become new theme of health. That is the situation that has emerged. So it is legitimate that I address young boys and girls that yes, your dream for VIKSIT BHARAT in 2047 should be your mission. It should be your passion, because you are capable of it. And trust me, no one can be more stakeholder in governance than young minds. You are more involved with governance than anyone else. One great benefit that has emerged in last few years is equality before law. There was a time when some people thought we are above law. Law can never reach us. We are beyond the reach of law. We are a distinct class. Now they have learned their lesson the hard way. All are equal before law. Law will spare none if you have violated law. You may be anybody, belonging to any country, any family, belonging to any class. You are accountable to law as much as any other person is. It is equality before law that is nectar of democracy. That is the essence of democracy. We cannot visualize democracy without there being equality before law and equal opportunities. I invite your attention while congratulating you all on the 75th Republic Day celebrations. What did we see on 26 January 2024? Kartavya Path. The world was stunned. Our woman power was in full play. Army, Air Force, Navy, band, cycle shows. And it was so impactful that their contribution on Republic Day was more than 50%. And why not? They are not just pilots of commercial airlines, they are fighter pilots. They are being admitted to Army defense, no one thought before. Chandrayaan's success is primarily due to a group of women also, one of them known as Rocket Woman. That is there. Just imagine the big change that has come into being. For 3 decades, we struggled hard to make available justice to our mothers and sisters, to give them role in governance. Reservation for them in Lok Sabha and state legislatures. It failed. But it was a great occasion, September 20 and 21 in 2023. And we had a great success. Except 2 abstentions in both the houses taken together, it was passed. And now we have horizontal, vertical reservation to the extent of 1/3 for women in Lok Sabha and state legislatures. Imagine, think out of the box what will happen to Lok Sabha and legislatures when more than 1/3 will be women. One woman has made so much difference on the dais. That will happen. boys and girls, that reservation has a societal element also. There is already reservation in parliament and legislatures for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. But in that category also 1/3 will be women. So more than 1/3 will be there, because in the 2/3 also women can contest. So boys and gentlemen in the room, gear up. You have to save your wicket from a very difficult bowling. When I look around and look at my days, but for scholarship I would not have got good education. But when I look at the technological penetration in the villages, your village has everything. It has internet, it has road, it has water, it has connectivity, it has a gas connection. You can work from home from a village. This is a big change, not easy. Imagine the situations. Vikrant, we discarded the old Vikrant and had a Vikrant made in our country. We have a plane Tejas made in our country. We have helicopters made in our country. And look at our ISRO. There was a time when we started. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, this class indicates I have only 5 minutes more. This is ingenious mechanism devised by Bhalekar. Yes, Bhalekar, he is a genius, my OSD. ISRO, when we fired our first satellite, it was not from our mother Bharat land, it was outside land. And now we put in space satellites of countries like USA, UK, Singapore from our stations. Our Chandrayaan 3 landed on the South Pole of Moon. No country has ever done it. On the moon we have now Shiv Shakti Point and Tiranga. No one has done it. Remarkable success. I can share with the boys and girls who are more interested in science and technology. Disruptive technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, or exploitation of G6, Internet of Things, quantum computing, our country is ahead of others. I am sure a university like you will engage into these activities also and be in the front line of getting engaged with disruptive technologies. I would have to conclude because this glass is a constant reminder. Actually, it's like a North Star. Boys and girls, always believe in Bharatiyata. Always take pride in your nation. Be proud Indians. Never hesitate to glorify your nation, because the exponential, incremental growth trajectory has stunned the world. The World Bank President has indicated India has achieved in digitalization in 6 years what other nations would do in 47 years. World Bank, they used to be critical of us. International Monetary Fund is on record to say that India is the fastest growing global economy at the moment and a shining star in economic world, a favorite destination of investment and opportunities. Make most of it. You are architects of Bharat. This is not a statement. You are architects of Bharat because you are the real stakeholders. You will have non-compromising attitude towards corruption. You have to believe in your nation because others are believing in this nation. Those who used to give advice to us 10 years ago in other countries are now taking our advice. When the change is so big, be prepared to grab the opportunity. Prime Minister has rightly called you not as the next generation. Prime Minister has called you as Amrit generation. This Amrit generation, I am sure, will see the nation in 2047 at peak. And in that we will be only regaining our past glory. We were there once. There are countless opportunities for you, but few suggestions. One, focus on fitness. The Honorable Governor was focused on it as a doctor. I am not one. They say about 2 things about lawyers and doctors. A doctor can fail in saving a patient who is diseased. A lawyer can catalyze death of a physically fit person also. So be fit and always keep discipline as your top priority. I have to conclude, I'll say two things. One, I am the President of Indian Council of World Affairs. It's a body of repute that gives you window to the entire world. I will direct the Director of Indian Council of World Affairs, Ambassador Thakur, Indian Foreign Service official, enormously talented, to have an MOU with this institute in next 1 month. That will help you enormously because you will have the visitors who will tell you what is happening in the world, and they will gain from you the brilliance of Indian mind, boys and girls. 2, I happen to be chairman of Rajya Sabha by virtue of being vice president of the country. I invite in batches students, boys and girls of this university to visit new building of Parliament as my guest. In the land where we have Aurobindo Ashram, let me conclude by his quote. His quote is, I quote, "One must have, first of all, a solid foundation," unquote. Boys and girls, by vision, passion, swift execution, affirmative governance policies, you have a solid foundation. There is no alibi for failure now. You have to achieve success because there is only one option for you, and that option is to succeed. There is second option also, that is also to succeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vice President. Mr. Bhalekarji,
I'm told there are 2 questions.
yes, sir.
Well, those who ask questions will come here.
Hello sir, good evening sir. Good evening everyone.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm Vijay from the Department of Politics and International Studies. And
Little louder.
my question is, how do you envision the role of youth in Indian politics in future?
The youth in politics.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Thank you sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you'll agree it's a difficult question because it's hydra-headed. A nation deserves the leaders it elects, and therefore people cannot lament why we have elected leaders. We must have talented people in governance, and politics is an important facet of governance. And let me tell you, boys and girls, the greatest challenge to your intellect is getting involved with electioneering. Times have now changed. Technology has brought about a change now. It was difficult for young boys and girls to enter politics earlier because that was not possible. So much had to be done by way of advertisement and others. Now things have changed. Social media is there. But 2 big changes have taken place in the country which you need to take note of. India is the only country in the world that has structured democracy at all levels. Panchayats, municipalities, legislatures, and state. It was not there in the constitution, but it came in 90s. Part 9 and 9 capital A, Panchayats and municipalities. Therein there is reservation for women. There is reservation for SC, ST and OBC. And there is of course the general category. And now we have in the Parliament and legislatures also for women. So there is a rich crop of human resource that is emanating from Sarpanch, Pradhan, Jila Pramukh, and most of them are women also. There was a time, let me tell you, when panchayat started for the first time, somebody would come and sit on the chair. The district magistrate would ask, "Aap kaun ho?" He would say, "मैं सरपंच पति हूँ, मैं प्रधान पति हूँ." That situation is gone altogether now. Women are exerting, rightly so. Actually, you are exerting more, getting us out of the room. So, crop is coming up. We must have healthy elections in our universities also. Because unless the youth will brainstorm, for example, let me tell you, some people have great difficulty in digesting growth of this nation. And they talk weird. That is tax-free entertainment to you. You must be seeing it every day. You must not observe silence. Your silence will resonate in your ears. Those who criticize this nation on irresponsible grounds, open your mind. These days, it is for you to emerge as a leader. And there is enough scope because people want knowledgeable governance. When I lament about the parliamentarians, Parliament should be the theatre to talk about disruptive technologies. Parliament should be the theatre to talk about our security concerns, our health requirements, how to sharpen our accountability and governance skills. I have no doubt, if some of you choose to be in politics, two advice. I never thought I would be a politician. I was a gold medalist all throughout. I was busy with my profession. मुझे धक्का दिया गया. I was lucky to be elected by the highest margin in Lok Sabha. पर मुझे पता लगा ये बहुत मुश्किल है. So keep patience, do your homework, and don't hesitate to take a jump. Never fear failure. Fear of failure is the greatest enemy of development. If it occurs to you that you need to be in politics, work for it. You will succeed. I will make another offer here. I will take 10 interns from this university to be intern at Parliament. Each one of you will be there. Your accommodation will be taken care of, your transport will be taken care of. And since you will be contributing, there will be modest fiscal award also. Take note of it. I would greatly appreciate if the Vice Chancellor and the Rector could help me with 10 names, but I would appreciate 50-50 for boys and girls. Next question. But don't make it as difficult as the previous speaker.
So, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Divya Bharati from School of Law. So, my question is, sir, I would like to know how VIKSIT BHARAT program prioritize gender equality in future policies, considering the diverse challenge faced by the women and the third genders.
A married man for 45 years to an enormously talented lady who graduated, post-graduated and got PhD from Manasri Vidyapith that houses more than 13,000 girls as residents. I know it's a tough challenge. It is only time, beta, look in my eyes. We will be seeking reservation. Honorable Prime Minister started, you see, very deliberately, very passionately. First he started with Swachh Bharat, consensual gender. Then he gave gas connections to more than 100 million houses free, because to help our mothers and sisters and grandmothers, he gave them free. Then he provided for toilet in every home. Then he ensured there should be jal in every null and there should be null in every house. He did it. Then he started a great scheme, you see, where you get easy loan, easy accessibility. And as a matter of fact, what happened on 26th of January 2024 is a warning call to every person who is not a female in this room. You occupied the space massively. So I have no doubt the gender equality is there. But the step that has been taken, for 30 years, our women were denied participation in a structured constitutional manner in Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. Now you have it. It is very difficult to imagine what will happen when more than 1/3 women will be there in the house. But I can say with great confidence, there will be more decorum, there will be more discipline, there will be greater policy making. I recall the day 21st September 2023. As chairman of the Rajya Sabha, we were to consider passing the Women Reservation Bill. I sit in a chair. I got 17 women parliamentarians to sit in my chair. From Jaya Bachchan ji, to P.T. Usha ji, to Koinak ji, to Mahua Maji. Mahua Maji, don't mistake the other one is not in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. And mind you, each of them came confident. I have devised a mechanism in Rajya Sabha that 50% of chairperson's panel is of women parliamentarians. My table office, which looks after the working of parliament from the desk, 50% are women. When we send secretarial people outside the country in delegations, we give adequate representation. In the process, we are doing nothing, but we are taking note of the writing on the wall, and that writing is by the Prime Minister of the country. He does what he believes in, and he does with emphasis. 26 January 2024, everyone in the world witnessed it. Thank you.
I extend immense gratitude to Honorable Vice President Shri